I don't need a billboard. I mean, I lived a life.
Mm.
My life needs to be my billboard. If I die and nobody remembers it, then that is what it is. And so every day I put the work in so that my work speaks for itself. Like people like, talk to me about your accomplishments or successes. I don't even answer them questions. Those are silly questions. I mean, you let other people write your obituary.
Welcome to another episode of Around the Way podcast, where we help you get around your obstacles and find a way to redesign your life. We are here with an author, politician, political commentator, just everything amazing. Somebody in our community specifically that is making strides to make the world a better place, impact people. Bakari Sellers, how are you this morning?
Man, I'm blessed. Thank you guys for having me. It's an awesome opportunity to be here with you guys today.
For sure, for sure. So before we even get started, anybody who doesn't know you, could you introduce yourself? You're a man of many hats. Could you introduce yourself, tell us what you do and how you're really making a change in the world?
Yeah, I guess the two most important titles I carry are probably husband and father in order. My wife, Ellen, is from Lancaster, South Carolina, has a small business, Rucker Roots, and my twins, Sadie and Stokely, are 2 years old, so they keep me tired throughout the day. And then I have a 15-year-old who's over at Charlotte Christian, about to be 16 June 1st, so navigating all of those things. And I guess my professional career, I wear many hats. I'm a lawyer by trade, so I practice law day in and day out. I'm at the Strom Law Firm in Columbia, South Carolina. We're in a few states. I am a CNN political commentator. Been there since 2015 when I lost my last election in 2014 when I ran for lieutenant governor in South Carolina. I'm an author. Had a New York Times bestseller come out last May 19th, a day I will always remember, and Malcolm X's birthday. I didn't know that until the book. Stayed on the New York Times bestsellers list for about a month. I have a children's book coming out in January, which I'm really, really excited about. Hopefully we can get that date bumped up to before Christmas. And have an adult book coming out next year that I'm writing in the probably summer, fall of next year. And I find myself doing a lot of, venture private investing as well. Just trying to build out the portfolio. It's something that I didn't or don't really have the experience in, but I've grown to love finding, small businesses or not necessarily small businesses, but individuals who start off small but have big ideas.
Exactly.
And investing in them and matching them with people who have resources and watching them grow.
Definitely. I think out of all of the interviews, we've probably done 60 interviews in the last 3 weeks. Yeah. Right.
And what are you all trying to prepare for, the Armageddon or something?
No, I know. I know, right? Because we're launching the season May 1st, right? And I think for us, this is definitely one of the most exciting interviews for me.
Oh, sure.
I've seen you, I've watched you, when you were, in South Carolina, and just kind of continue to grow your career and, just the inspiration and the model, I guess, black man of this generation. Kind of the new age W.E.B. Du Bois, or one of those definitely leaders that we used to look up to. And some of the things that you're doing, absolutely impressive. I think a lot of people that are listening, though, when you gave your introduction, it's a lot of different things. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people complain about not having enough time in the day, which is really just an excuse. What's your strategy to being able to effectively manage, like you said, first, the two most important things, being a husband and a father, but definitely all of the different ventures that you have as well?
I mean, it's tough. There aren't enough hours in the day. You try to, one of the things that, and I tell most folk, and I wrote about it in my Vanishing Countries, I live, one day at a time. The worst question to ask Bakari Sellers is, where will you be in 5 years, or where will you be in a year? I don't like those questions. I don't answer those questions well. I'm somebody who I don't feel like I can successfully get to a year if I don't make the most of the 24-hour period I'm in. It's the theory that you got to eat an elephant with a single bite.
Exactly.
And so I just, that, and I think my anxiety also prohibits me from thinking that far out, but that is something that I've always ascribed to, which is just make the most of the moment that you're in. I mean, right now, I, make the most of this podcast. Then, the day is boom, 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 and, love as hard as you can, whether or not that's your wife or your kids. I always tell my kids to, although I'm not sure if they understand, they will one day, but always make sure people know how you feel about them. Life is finite. And I think that loving hard is very, very important. I think that showing those emotions and being emotional are healthy attributes. But at the end of the day, to answer your question directly, I guess the great American poet Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie, would say that you sleep when you die. And so there's so much out there to do that you just have to make the most of it. And I hope that people, to your point, people would always say that I don't have enough time to do something. If I only had enough time, I would. And I hope that people over the last 18 months, God said, okay, and he slowed everything down. Mm-hmm. And he gave you nothing but time. Mm-hmm. And so hopefully people come out of this COVID era, this COVID-19 quarantine period, so spiritually, emotionally, mentally stronger than they went in. And hopefully you have some goals that you have put a lot of thought in, put them on paper. And, if you're still working from home or still able to, balance that, I hope you prepare yourself as you go forward.
Exactly. No, I got one more. I got one more. For sure.
He's just being selfish.
We do this, though.
That's the second time.
I'm going to get you, though, in a minute.
No, I think one thing that I recognize a lot is representation, especially within our communities, is huge. Mm-hmm. And I researched that both of your parents were activists, or just your father?
Well, I mean, both. My father was a luminary in activism. My mom was actually, she probably would steer clear of the word activist. My mother actually was a part of the desegregating class of Hamilton High School in Funkytown, Memphis, Tennessee. My mom was younger than my dad. My mom was born in 1951. My dad was born in 1944. And so there were different kind of generations of activism. But yeah, my dad was a member of SNCC. My dad went to Howard, dropped out of Howard with his good friend Stokely, and joined the movement.
That's so interesting.
And so, that is kind of the family. I'm a product of that civil rights era, a child of the movement, I guess is what they would call me. And it's just been it's a unique kind of bond and fraternity that you're a part of, because there aren't many people who can claim that, I guess. But having parents that were a part of that movement, it means so much, but it gives you a different worldview and different perspective.
Exactly. And that representation as a father, how important is that to continue to keep that alive as they grow up? Yeah,
I mean, it is. Like I don't have fatherhood figured out, so that's a question I won't really be able to answer. Fatherhood is something that you just kind of take, one day at a time. I don't really have those answers. But you do learn the lessons of your father. You do learn the lessons of it's the kind of the proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So you learn those lessons from not just your father, but other men in your village. And, for those individuals whose father is not in their lives, you have to hopefully have that village around you, because there are other people who step up and play those roles. And when you're going out and you have the opportunity then to be someone's father, you learn the lessons from all of them. And for me, it was just, my father was there. He always had me on his leg and taught me those stories. I learned lessons from my brother, who's here in Charlotte, who's a great, great father. He's more my age, so I'm able to take, he's older than me, but more my age, so I'm able to take more lessons from him than even my own father. And so, just... It's unique, because this fatherhood thing is truly a one day at a time ordeal.
For sure. I know you got
my turn.
I know. All right, we're wrapping up.
All right.
You get your question.
So going back a little bit, I love that you began your introduction with husband and father, and you said in that order, because you then went on to rattle off this like an impressive resume and titles and all these things that you have. So I think that was cool that was like the first thing that you started with. I think that says something. I'm not going to get into that, but it says something. But with you being so busy, what things are you involved in, or which parts of your current identity are out of obligation and which of them are like personal passion? Because you have a lot of things that you do.
I don't have anything that's not a personal passion.
Okay.
I don't believe in that.
I figured you'd say that.
Yeah, no, I don't have time. I don't have time to waste.
Yeah.
So everything that I do is because, like, I'm here because I don't know y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like if there are other individuals who I can help maybe grow your podcast or grow your platform so that you can reach out and touch more people and you believe in it, then, you know, what's an hour I can give that. That's a passion of mine. I want you all to be a success, and I think that's important. But I don't have anything that are just, I mean, some shit my wife makes me do it. Or like obligation. But, you know, I tell everybody, I'm not a perfect husband. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm, what's old boy's name that got caught up?
Derek Jackson.
Yeah. I'm not out here professing that. I'm not a perfect father. Every day I just want to be better. My life is simple, and I've deduced it to make it simple for me. And this may not work for everyone, but I just want to be better today than I was yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think the people who are like, I'm gonna go out and win a Pulitzer Prize today, or I'm gonna win the Heisman Trophy today. That's cool. You could get there.
Yeah.
But that's a hell of a goal to have on a Monday.
Yeah.
You should just start your Mondays off trying to be better than last week. And then, you put the work in, and you'll be surprised what happened. But no, everything that I do is the businesses I invest in. I have a couple of marijuana businesses, passion. A couple of sports ventures, passion, that I've invested in. The speaking engagements I do. I love being out with people, being on the road. Before pre-COVID, I was, doing 100 speeches a year all around the world. I love that. COVID allowed me to spend more time with my family, and
Mm-hmm.
so I love that. So I think that you tend to do better at your job if it's a passion,
Mm-hmm.
and you tend to make more money when you're passionate about it.
So let me ask you this, and then I'll let you go. I know you got something. So I know it sounds like a lot of your personal motivation or intrinsic motivators are impact, and the ability to help and serve and those kinds of things. Which things in your life, or is there anything in your life that if no one else saw or benefited or observed, that you would still do those things? So for instance, maybe for me, if nobody else heard me sing, I would probably still sing because it gives me...
Can you sing though?
Oh yeah. Why'd you say it yeah, I can.
I mean, it's kind of selfish then if you're not going to share it with nobody.
But I'm saying, what if in a world where everybody disappeared, and so then you're doing stuff that really makes you happy?
Oh.
I would still sing because it brings me joy whether or not anybody hears it. Is there anything, or do all of the things in your life bring you that type of joy that if no one else saw them, you would still want to do them?
My joy, and probably the fucked up part of me, is that my joy is relying on other people.
Okay.
I'm cool by myself, but
Yeah.
I'd rather, Christmas is my favorite holiday because I love shopping for people.
And seeing people open the gifts.
Yeah, that's that's cool. I just, I never really thought about it that way, but my joy is really reliant on the joy and impact on others. So I don't, it's not like I like, some people like to go shopping, just to get stuff for themselves or like cars because they want to be in the, I just like, I want other people. And it comes from a unique philosophy, I guess, because it's not cool and to be the only person rich in your friend group.
Yeah. It's
not cool to always have to buy everybody dinner and stuff. And so I just figured you might as well try to make everybody around you better.
See, I could all be doing it together.
Yeah.
That's solid. It sounds so like me. I really enjoy putting other people on. Or
maybe
really
I gotta
other
find
people.
something that I can do by myself though. I don't really fish or nothing like that. I work out, but I work out with somebody else.
Do you do anything by yourself?
I was just thinking nah.
You sleep by your no.
I don't even
not
sleep
really,
by
'cause you're
myself.
next
I
to
can't
her.
even sleep by myself. I hate
Got
sleeping by
kids and
myself.
everything.
Yeah, I know. I have kids in the bed and all types of stuff.
That's
So
deep.
nah, yeah.
I guess my question for you is, you seem very reflective. And I love how you say that I'm not a perfect husband. I'm continuing to figure it out. I'm not a perfect father. And you don't even put that out in the atmosphere. I think that a lot of people make that mistake, right? I guess my question is, what is one lesson that you wish you would have learned sooner?
Again, that's a tough question for me because I pride myself on not living with regrets. Every mistake that I've made, I believe has been purposeful. You try to learn from them. DMX had that dope quote the other day about trust. That in his death, it became, it was something along the lines of you never really have to trust people for who they are, right? Trust a thief to be a thief. Trust whatever to be a whatever. Don't try to make them out to be something they're not. And, even when you have people who, put you down, or people who you once trusted who you no longer trust, or any of those things, you just learn from those situations. I mean, I can't say that there's something that I wish I would have known at a different time, because I think you do all things in due time, and you just have to be prepared. I don't believe that I miss opportunities because I'm prepared for them.
Exactly. What would be your advice for somebody listening? We're a part of that millennial generation.
Yeah.
To be prepared for that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question, because I think people need a lot more clarity. I meet a lot of dope thinkers, a lot of people who are just like, man, I want to do this. I'm like, cool. Well, how you gonna do it? And they really haven't put the thought into the how. It's like the gospel song that we've heard a million times, order your steps, right? I'm not, anywhere near a gospel singer or a preacher, but I will tell you that you got to order your steps. That's first. I mean, just write down. There's nothing you can't accomplish. I call it dreaming with your eyes open, but literally, just document your steps. If you want to be a doctor, find somebody that has accomplished that goal. Kind of emulate them, see where they went to school, figure out what schooling you want to have, what type of doctor you want to be, find out what schools or who has those internship programs or those co-curricular, extracurricular programs. I mean, if you want to be a basketball player, then, by all means, figure out what gyms are open late at night, who's the best shooting coach out there, how you going to save up money to get that shooting coach, where you want to go to school. I mean, maybe you have to start at JUCO or, a D2 school. I'm always a believer that if you're good, people will find you anywhere. And so, I'm always telling folk that if you just order your steps, people always come to me and say, I want to write a book. All right, well, what you got? Well, I got this idea. Well, that don't really work. So, write down an outline of what you want to write about, or at least a thesis, like what your book gonna be about. Yeah. Like, I got an interest in life. Well, we all do. But what makes you, why would I read your story? How is your story going to help somebody else? I mean, is really the question you should ask. And so I just tell folk to order their steps when they can.
That's good. That's good. And you talked about getting that coach or that mentor, or finding the best in that specific area. Who or what piece of advice did you gain over your career that really resonated with you and shifted your overall perspective?
I mean, my father has always been there, so it hasn't necessarily been a shift of perspective, but it's been a perspective that's been ingrained. For me, it's binary choices. Like, my dad would say you could go to any college in the country you wanted to go to as long as it was an HBCU. You can be anything you want to be as long as you're a change agent. My brother is a tech consultant exec. My sister's a doctor. I'm a lawyer, but we all kind of have this being a change agent kind of mantra that we follow. And so it was just those kind of choices. I never, especially when you're raising kids, one of the things that I have learned is that you can't, you give guardrails, right? You kind of give bumper rails, but you never push them or pull them in one direction. You kind of give them a room, but you don't make them sit anywhere in particular. Let them figure that out. Let them learn. Let them figure out what they like, because that's how they will excel. That's how they'll draw on their strengths, understand what their weaknesses are. And that's what my father did to us. He and my mother. I mean, they said, you're going to have this insatiable desire to learn as much as possible. But, sometimes it may be reading, sometimes it may be through experiences, sometimes it may be through whatever it is. And I just, for me, that's been the best way for me to learn. And that's how I've gone out. I'm not somebody who sits here and says that I've read every Baldwin book, but I'm not somebody who sits here and says that I read Baldwin every Monday when I'm like, I'm not reading 1,000 pages of books a day. I don't. I find myself finding more enjoyable newspapers. I read newspapers and long form magazines. So I can tell you what's in the Atlantic, or New York Magazine or New Yorker, New York Times Magazine or New Yorker a lot more fluently than I can tell you what's on the New York Times bestsellers list, because I really don't know. I may read a book here or there, maybe once a month or once every other month, but that's just kind of how I go about.
Not ask it.
Oh no, I was just thinking, like, people don't read magazines and newspapers anymore. Are you reading physical copies of these things, or are you like doing the digital thing?
I read a lot of digital.
Oh, okay.
Because I love a physical newspaper.
Yeah.
You just got to find them. I mean,
that's the hard part.
You go to Starbucks, don't you? You order all them complicated ass drinks, don't you?
Why do you assume that about me?
Because you do.
What vibe am I getting?
Give me the almond milk latte.
That is not me.
Grande
I don't know why he's making you feel like that.
3 splashes.
No. And whatever I order him, he drinks.
I'm not ordering. I'm not ordering. So I do have a question. I think that we talk about this a lot on the podcast in regards to seasons, right? We all go through different seasons or chapters, and you're an author. So what season would you say that you're in? And how are you going to bring this season to a close so that you can move into the next season?
I'm in grind mode, planting a lot of seeds. The last 18 months, 2 years, I planted a lot of seeds financially. We just harvested about 110 pounds of marijuana this weekend too, so literally planted a lot of seeds. But plant a lot of seeds. You're writing a lot now, so that book comes out next year. I wrote a children's book, so that book comes out next year. It's being illustrated now. Seeds for shows, seeds for business. There are a lot of cases I'm working on, so I'm in that mode right now. So hopefully you'll be able to. It's like it's a lot of work. You're grinding a lot. It's a lot of different spaces, and have a lot of people that I work with to keep me, at least going in the right at least going forward. But that's the mode I'm in right now. I'm in planting and grind mode. Hopefully I'll be able to enjoy next year. Enjoy the fruit of our harvest and labor.
As a politician, because I feel like once a politician, always a politician.
That's a true sentiment.
You're very particular in regards to who's around you and in your environment. What advice or recommendation would you give to people working to forge their environment? What type of people should we have around us?
I mean, I'm particular, but I ain't that particular.
Okay.
Like, so like that, I don't have a certain type of person. Like, I have friends. Like, that's just the truth. Like, my friends, like when I go back home to Denmark, I sit with the same people I grew up with. And we chat it up. We remember them days we used to break into the gym to hoop. That they are still there. It's humbling. They're still my friends. I write a lot in my book about a dude named Pop who grew up on the other side of the tracks, who, ended up living with us but had a different background than I did. Pop's still my brother. We talk every other day. He calls me often. He's a father now, and he went to college and graduated, spent some time in prison, those type things. But, he's still a friend. And so I think that, if evaluating friends or your circle, there's not a type of circle you should have to reach success. Your circle should just be rooted in honesty. I mean, I think that's the most important thing. Y'all got to be honest with each other. They have to be honest with you. All my friends are extremely honest with me. I mean, everybody's not going to, everybody's not going to be doing the same things at the same speed, right? There are a lot of people who like, man, I'm gonna be this businessman. I'm gonna kill Charlotte, right? I'm working at Bank of America right now. I'm about to hang out with nothing but bankers, and we're gonna all dress nice. And like on the weekends, we're gonna wear these skinny jeans, and we're gonna go out and we gonna do whatever, right? And that's cool. That's also kind of weird. I rather have people who are honest with me day in and day out. Who, some folk I met recently, some folk I met, coming up. But at the end of the day, we ride for each other, and I think that's really important.
Can I switch it up?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. In the middle of the table, you will notice a red box.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of that box are some questions.
Okay.
I would like for you to take the red box, pick a question, read the question, and answer the question.
All right. There's a lot of questions in here. Has your faith been challenged recently? Yeah, your faith is always challenged. That's, faith is like a muscle. Mm-hmm. And unless you work it, it won't get stronger. Like, I just firmly believe that it's an exercise, and my faith has been challenged. My daughter was born with biliary atresia, which is a rare liver disease. She had to get a liver transplant. My father-in-law died the same weekend that we got a call from Duke to go give my daughter a liver transplant. Yeah, so I think that people who are, I don't know. I do talk to Bishop Jakes and Tyler Perry often. And,
really? That's such a flex,
it's subtle though.
Yeah, like a subtle flex.
It was like,
I talk to Bishop Jakes and Tyler Perry often.
Yeah, no, they do. But they are people who help keep me grounded in my faith and know that one of the best sermons. This is actually a true story. We were at Tyler Perry's studio for this grand opening in September of 2019, I guess. Yeah, 2019. It was a big grand opening. Everybody was there, from Cicely Tyson to Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. Oprah was there, Diddy. It was crazy. It was everybody there. We had this huge dinner party the night before. It was 800 guests. And so anybody you can think of, Bill and Hillary Clinton were there. Anybody you can think of, except Barack and Michelle, were there.
Okay.
Right? And the next morning we have church service. And so we have this huge party at night. Then the next morning you have church.
That's so cool.
And so, yeah, Mary J. performed at the dinner the night before. And then, there was Smokey Norfolk performed at church.
Wow.
You had Tamela Mann was there. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Bishop Jakes, he gave this speech about this sermon about I want to say it was cod, and they were trying to figure out how to transport cod from the east to the west coast, and so they would fly the cod, and all the cod would die. I'm messing this up, but I'm gonna get to that. And it might not even be cod, but whatever. But they put the cod on a train, and they would try to get it from east to west coast, and they couldn't, or west to east, whatever. And the cod would die. And so then they decided to put because I don't know what fish it was, but catfish.
Trout.
Catfish. They wanted to put catfish in the same aquarium with the cod when they transported it, and the cod lived because they put the catfish in there who were chasing the cod, and the theme was that your haters keep you fresh.
Okay.
And so they put a hater in there. They put an enemy of the cod in there, and it kept them fresh.
Okay.
And so, I just, they give me messages like that all the time, especially going through the times that we're going through right now.
That is good.
Yeah.
I was wondering where you was going.
Yeah, I know. And I messed it up, but you get the point.
We get
it. We get
the point. Yeah. So yeah, my faith is always
you don't have to answer anymore if you don't want to.
You didn't give me no.
I said answer a question, but if you want to answer another
questions
one,
in the box. Yeah.
No, answer. Yeah,
what was that one that you had right
it
there
was
that
too
you
long.
tried to
I didn't
put
feel
back?
like reading that. It's like a paragraph.
You tried to put that back?
I don't know. When was the last time that someone? This is a long question. When was the last time that someone's entrance or departure from your life shifted your perspective of the world positively or negatively? I don't know. If they if they left my life, they weren't meant to be there. So
I said
didn't
entrance or departure.
Entrance. Oh, my kid's entrance into my life.
See?
That's easy.
See, you gave up on that question as soon as you looked at it.
Yeah, it was long. How will you know when you've reached success? What will that look like? I don't know. That's for other people to write about.
Okay. You're out of control.
I don't write about my success. I let other people do that. When was the last time you were disappointed in yourself? Oh, that's a good one. When was the last time I was disappointed in myself? You know, disappointment.
See, you kept picking and you got that one.
I know. I don't know about disappointment, but like I've had, you sometimes, this another weird flex name drop, buddy. Alan Van Zant would always tell me that because I suffer from anxiety, but she
always tells you.
I would say that that I was stuck in my head, and she would tell me, Bakari, you're not stuck in your head, but you're just you're lost in you're lost in your thoughts without adult supervision. And so sometimes, when I'm having moments of anxiousness or anxiety, you get down on yourself, and you shouldn't. Which reminds me, I have therapy this week. I need to figure out when that is.
With Ianla, probably.
No,
with Dr. Phil or somebody.
Y'all don't go to therapy?
We do.
Yeah. Actually,
and we about to do a new form of therapy.
Yeah.
What are y'all about to do?
It's a relationship coaching.
Yeah.
Are y'all married?
We're
No.
not married, no.
Are y'all getting married?
We get married, Kyle?
Why don't you reach in the red box and ask yourself a question?
We get married, Kyle.
I like this guy.
How long y'all been together?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, you playing now.
How-
What y'all doing? Just practicing?
Bakari, talk to
Man,
him.
y'all asking me all these
to
faith
him.
questions and y'all
Talk to
shacking up.
him.
Just shacking
We don't
up.
live together.
Y'all don't live. Y'all got.
Nah.
Now let me just violate everything your grandparents said. Y'all have to live together before you get married.
No, I do agree
Talk
with
more
that.
about that.
Nah, you can't just jump in the same house with somebody that you've never lived with. You got to be able to live with people and know you got to know their quirks. You got to know their idiosyncrasies because you're doing this for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And you got to, because there be some things there may be some things that he proves to be irredeemable for, which you would want to know prior to marriage. Mm-hmm. Or there may be some things that you need to work on. Because right now you're kind of working on things with the blind spot. But definitely go to therapy and marriage counseling. That's important.
Mm-hmm.
That was good.
Do that before. Learn each other's love languages and learn where you guys are going to have the most difficulty. It's always going to be, not always, but 99% of the time it's going to be money.
Yeah. I would say just like as an honesty moment, I feel like us doing the podcast like so intensely like we have been doing it for the past couple of weeks has taught us a lot about each other.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to do those things. And I don't mean money like y'all going bickering over money, but sometimes you'll have different goals.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you'll want to do different things or you'll have different savings philosophies, which comes up a lot. So one of you guys may want to save more than the other. The other may be saving for a vacation. You may be saving for children in the future. You just have different perspectives on. One wants to live life. One wants to preserve so they can live life. And you just want to know those things. Marriage is a long time.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
For sure.
It is.
I do have a question to bring it back.
Yeah.
To get off the hot seat. You see that?
Like, man, you ain't, this ain't your show.
To bring it back. No, I just think about, and I asked this before, but I would love to just hear your answer. If you had a billboard, if today was your last day and you could leave one message to the world, one message.
That's a messed up question. Ask somebody with anxiety.
All right.
No,
if you could only.
If you about to go out here and die. What?
All right. Well, if you had one message that would get to everybody in the world right now, what would that message be?
I don't need a billboard. I mean, I lived a life. My life needs to be my billboard. If I die and nobody remembers it, then that is what it is. And so every day I put the work in so that my work speaks for itself. People like, talk to me about your accomplishments or successes. I don't even answer them questions. Those are silly questions. I mean, you let other people write your obituary. I don't focus on that. When that time comes, I hope it's a long way away. I do have my program written for my.
Do you really?
Yeah, I can't let y'all
The
miss
whole
this.
program?
I mean, I know what songs I want and stuff
You
like
got
that.
I want, I don't know, Anthony Hamilton or, I don't know, one of the people on your roster to be like singing. Like.
Subtle flex. Anthony is a neighbor.
See?
Anthony can sing.
I already knew that.
Nah, but I need Going Up Yonder.
Okay.
Take
Me to the King. No.
I don't want to Take Me to the
I
King.
like that.
But I do want I need a it depends on where I am in my life, but I do want one of them paid howlers or somebody to scream, try to jump in there with me. I need some.
Oh no!
You know
Oh no!
I need somebody to start the flow though. I want people in there trying to jump in there with me.
Hey, you want like multiple people doing this?
Oh yeah.
See, no.
Multiple people.
Multiple people. Like, where did they come from?
Like, who is
no, that's what they're gonna. And then there's gonna be all these like rumors started. Like, you know what? That was his child that nobody knew about.
That's but no. I don't need a billboard or anything like that. I just let my work speak for me. Let my children be. If my children are dope individuals, I did good. So, I mean, that's kind of where I am.
This has been such a great conversation. Yeah. I love what you said at the beginning. If we needed more than that time, we're just simply gossiping. And I like how you've delivered value in 35 minutes. And I'm just thankful of that because there's been some people. There's been some people that aren't authentic. And I really appreciate that.
I tell folk all the time, people are like, man, can we meet? I need an hour and a half. I don't have it. No, you don't. Like, what are we talking about in an hour and a half? Like, nah, we can meet for 30 minutes and we can get the value. And if we need to talk about something later, then we can. I mean, life is about moments and you got to make the most of them and move the ball down the field all the time.
So I guess last question for you.
Question from you. And then we got.
Word. Is how can we support you? You know, are you working on some things? I heard there's some conversations coming on some things that will be worked on in the next 3 years.
I think. Listen, I want this podcast to do really well. So I want y'all to market it. I want you to get on a good platform. I want you to do everything necessary. So when in January when my children's books comes out, this is a platform I can come back and use. And right now, hopefully, we'll just be in the. I'll tweet and put it on social and all that stuff. Hopefully this will be something that can grow for you all. I mean, that's my goal in making this platform huge. And then just keep me in your prayers always. I'm never ashamed to ask for those.
My turn?
Yeah, that's my last one.
In thinking about, I think Kyle asked a question about like the next season or like closing out this.
What season I'm in?
Yeah, what season you're in. What season, I know you said you're wanting things to harvest, but deeper than that, what season are you preparing for? Because as somebody with anxiety, I know that in your head there's maybe something that you're like anticipating is coming up or you're preparing for in ways. What is something?
That's a good question. I mean, because I have so many different kind of irons in the fire. But I've learned the value of like health and happiness. When your daughter goes through so much, you end up in a point where you are helpless. And that's the worst feeling in the world when you have a child and you can't do anything for them. Like you really are then relying on medicine and other people. And even more than all of that, you're relying on prayers. And so I am putting myself in a position where, one, I can be extremely healthy, and two, I can be extremely happy because I just feel like, and I think most people, if they focused on their health and happiness, they could be a lot more pleasant to deal with.
Agreed.
And a lot more successful at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
This has been amazing. Absolutely amazing. And anybody that's listening right now, I want you to really go back and replay this over and over again. You've heard from Bakari Sellers, and he's talked about resiliency and continue to persevere. Don't focus on writing your success. Focus on doing the work and let them write about your success when you're gone.
Yeah.
Be honest. Have authentic relationships, but first be authentic within yourself. Continue to serve other people. Don't focus on what you need from people. Focus on how you can be of service and value for others. And then last thing is health and happiness. We're here with Bakari Sellers, the man, the father, the politician, as always. And we'll see you guys next episode on Around the Way podcast.
Bye, guys.